Get your hands where I can see them now! You people think you can just ignore police orders? The snarl rips through the 2:47 a.m. darkness as Officer Bradley Mitchell towers over Evelyn Thompson on her own doorstep. Red and blue lights strobe across her hospital scrubs like a nightmare disco. "Officer, please. I'm a nurse. I just got home from work," Evelyn whispers, her voice trembling as she raises trembling hands. Her hospital ID badge catches the patrol car's spotlight. Mitchell's laugh is pure venom. "Nurse? Right, and I'm the Pope." He spits inches from her feet, his hand hovering over his weapon. "Anonymous tip says you got weapons in there. Time for a little house inspection." "Sir, you don't have a warrant." "I don't need a warrant for drug dealers." But Mitchell has no idea who's sleeping upstairs or what's about to unfold. Have you ever seen justice served ice cold? The Ocean View district sleeps peacefully under a canopy of stars. American flags hang from porches like silent sentinels. Military family decals gleam on car bumpers. Navy mom, SEAL dad, proud Marine family. This isn't the war zone, Mitchell imagines in his twisted mind. Evelyn Thompson's Honda Civic sits in the driveway, hospital parking pass still dangling from the rear-view mirror. The back seat holds children's art projects and a World's Best Mom coffee mug. Her nursing credentials hang in a clear plastic holder. Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters, Pediatric ICU. Inside the modest two-story home, family photos line the hallway walls. James Thompson in full dress uniform receiving the Bronze Star. Evelyn in her nursing graduation gown, 8-year-old Tommy's soccer trophy, 12-year-old Sarah's honor roll certificate, a family that serves, protects, and heals. The kitchen still smells faintly of the morning's pancakes. Crayon drawings cover the refrigerator, stick figures of Daddy in military uniform, Mommy in scrubs, all holding hands under a rainbow. A deployment calendar counts down days until Daddy comes home, crossed off just yesterday. Upstairs, Commander James Thompson sleeps in the deep sleep of exhaustion. 15 years of Navy SEAL operations have trained his body to grab rest whenever possible. His dress uniform hangs pressed and ready in the closet, rows of ribbons telling stories of courage under fire. The SEAL trident pin gleams on his nightstand, symbol of America's most elite warriors. James returned yesterday from a classified 6-month deployment, his mind still adjusting to civilian time zones. The kids had made "Welcome Home Daddy" banners. Evelyn had taken the night off to be with him, but the hospital called with an emergency. A 6-year-old drowning victim needed her expertise. "Go save lives, beautiful," James had whispered, kissing her forehead. "I'll be here when you get back." Now he sleeps peacefully, trusting that his family is safe in the country he's spent his career defending. In adjoining bedrooms, Tommy and Sarah dream innocent dreams. Tommy's room overflows with toy soldiers and model ships. Sarah's walls display science fair ribbons and photos with her military dad. Both children know Daddy fights bad guys far away to keep them safe at home. The neighborhood itself tells a story of quiet patriotism and working-class pride. Retired Chief Petty Officer Williams lives next door, his garage workshop filled with American Legion memorabilia. Across the street, Maria Santos teaches elementary school while her husband serves overseas. 2 doors down, the Johnsons run a small landscaping business and coach Little League. These families know each other's children, share holiday meals, and rally around military spouses during deployments. When James deploys, neighbors check on Evelyn. When Maria's husband ships out, James fixes her broken fence. This is America at its best, diverse, caring, united by service and sacrifice. Officer Bradley Mitchell sees none of this humanity. 12 years on the force have hardened his heart and poisoned his mind with racial hatred. His personnel file bulges with complaints, excessive force, discriminatory traffic stops, verbal abuse. Each incident was dismissed, buried under the thin blue line of police protection. 3 weeks ago, Mitchell arrested Marcus Williams for suspicious behavior. The black teenager was waiting for his school bus. 2 weeks ago, he detained Reverend Johnson during a traffic stop, claiming the minister's Mercedes was too expensive for his kind. Last week, he ransacked the Patel family's convenience store, finding nothing but causing thousands in damage. The complaints pile up like toxic waste, but Mitchell's union connections and department politics keep him on the streets. His rookie partner, Officer Stevens, has witnessed the pattern but lacks the courage to speak up. The system protects its own, even when its own are wolves in uniform. Tonight, Mitchell's hatred has found a new target. The anonymous tip about weapons and suspicious activity came from a malfunctioning garage door that woke a nervous neighbor. A simple noise complaint has become Mitchell's excuse for racial profiling. As Evelyn stands trembling on her doorstep, her family sleeps safely upstairs, trusting in justice and protection. They have no idea that evil wears a badge tonight, that their sanctuary is about to become a battlefield, that their faith in the system will be shattered in the next few minutes. The stage is set for a confrontation that will expose the rot in American policing and the power of truth to triumph over hatred. Mitchell's boots stomp across the threshold without invitation, his bulk filling Evelyn's doorway like a human battering ram. The smell of stale coffee and hatred radiates from his uniform as he pushes past her into the living room, his tactical vest scraping against the doorframe. "Please keep your voice down," Evelyn whispers urgently, her hands still raised in surrender. "My husband just returned from deployment yesterday. He needs his rest after 6 months overseas." Mitchell's laugh is pure poison, echoing off the family room walls lined with military commendations. "Husband, what fairy tale are you selling now, sweetheart?" He grabs a framed photo from the mantel, James in full sealed dress uniform receiving a Bronze Star commendation. "Nice costume party pictures. You can buy this military Halloween crap anywhere these days." The heavy frame crashes to the hardwood floor, glass exploding like tiny diamonds across the space where Tommy and Sarah play with their toys each morning. Evelyn flinches but doesn't move to clean it up, knowing any sudden motion could escalate Mitchell's barely contained aggression. "Sir, that's my husband, Commander James Thompson, United States Navy SEALs," Evelyn says, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "He's been deployed for 6 months in classified operations overseas. You can verify his service record through—" "Cut the crap, lady." Mitchell kicks the broken frame aside with deliberate cruelty, his voice dripping with racial venom. "I know exactly what goes on in houses like this. Drug money pays for fancy military costumes and fake ID badges. You people always think you're so clever." The words hit like physical blows. Officer Stevens shifts uncomfortably by the front door, his rookie instincts screaming that everything about this situation violates basic police procedure. The house is immaculate, smelling faintly of vanilla candles and fresh laundry. Family photos cover every surface in loving abundance. Children's artwork decorates the refrigerator like colorful prayers. This doesn't resemble any drug house from his academy training. "Mitchell, maybe we should call for backup," Stevens suggests weakly, his voice barely audible over his partner's aggressive breathing. "Or verify the anonymous report with dispatch before proceeding." "I don't need some snot-nosed rookie telling me how to do my job," Mitchell snarls without taking his predatory gaze off Evelyn. His hand rests casually on his weapon like a gunslinger in a twisted western. 12 years on this force, boy. I can smell criminals from 3 blocks away." Evelyn pulls her hospital identification from her scrubs pocket with trembling fingers, the plastic lanyard catching the harsh porch light streaming through her violated doorway. "Officer, please examine my credentials carefully. I'm a pediatric ICU nurse at Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters. I just finished a 12-hour shift saving a 6-year-old drowning victim's life. You can call my supervisor, Dr. Martinez, to verify my employment and schedule." Mitchell snatches the ID badge and examines it with theatrical skepticism, holding it up to the light like a counterfeit bill. Fake as a $3 bill, probably printed at Kinko's with all your other phony documents. He tosses it carelessly onto the couch where it lands among Sarah's homework papers. "You people think you're so clever with your fake jobs and stolen cars, don't you?" The racial hatred in his voice cuts through the room like a rusty blade. Stevens winces visibly, knowing he should speak up, but paralyzed by fear of his senior partner's documented history of retaliating against officers who question his methods. The rookie has heard whispered stories in the locker room about Mitchell's reputation, seen the internal affairs complaints that mysteriously disappear from personnel files. "Sir, I've never committed a crime in my entire life," Evelyn says, her voice gaining strength despite her obvious terror. "I volunteer every weekend at the Veterans Rehabilitation Center. I coach my daughter's soccer team. I serve this community every single day of my life through my nursing career." Save the Academy Award performance for someone who gives a damn. Mitchell begins opening kitchen drawers and bathroom cabinets without legal justification, his illegal search systematically destroying the family's privacy and sense of security. Wedding china crashes to the floor as he ransacks their belongings. Anonymous tip says you got weapons stockpiled in here somewhere. Time to see what you're really hiding behind all this suburban soccer mom bullshit. The sound of splintering wood echoes as Mitchell forces open a locked desk drawer containing family documents. Birth certificates, marriage license, James's military service records, all the paperwork proving their legitimate American dream, scattered like confetti across the violated floor. Upstairs, the old floorboards creak softly as someone stirs from deep sleep. Mitchell freezes instantly, his hand moving to his weapon with practiced speed. Who else is in this house? How many accomplices did you got hiding up there? My children, Evelyn whispers, maternal protection flaring in her voice. Tommy's 8 years old, Sarah's 12. Please don't wake them. They've been through enough trauma with their father deployed overseas for half a year. Children? Mitchell's eyes light up with malicious opportunity, recognizing new leverage to terrorize this family. Well. Might need to call Child Protective Services immediately. Can't have innocent kids living in a drug house with illegal weapons lying around everywhere. The threat hits Evelyn like a physical assault, stealing her breath and making her knees weak. She realizes with crystal clarity that this uniformed predator has the governmental power to destroy her family's life, even without a shred of evidence. The system designed to protect law-abiding citizens has become their greatest existential threat. Mitchell continues his authorized rampage, overturning couch cushions and dumping entire desk drawers onto the floor. Bills and family documents scatter everywhere. Mortgage payment stubs, hospital insurance papers, school lunch account statements, piano lesson receipts, all the mundane expenses of normal family life that completely contradict his criminal drug dealer narrative. Look at all this suspicious paperwork, Mitchell sneers, deliberately stomping through the scattered documents with his muddy boots. Probably forged to hide your real income sources from drug trafficking. Dealers always try to look legitimate with fake family setups. A small, frightened voice drifts down from the second floor. Mommy? Why are there loud, angry voices downstairs? Is Daddy okay? Evelyn's maternal instincts explode like a supernova. I'm coming up, baby girl. Everything's going to be okay. She moves instinctively toward the staircase to comfort her terrified daughter, but Mitchell's bulk blocks her path like a human roadblock. Nobody moves anywhere without my explicit permission, he growls, his hand now openly hovering over his holstered weapon. The threat couldn't be more unmistakable if he painted it in neon letters. Kids stay exactly where they are until I clear this entire house for weapons and illegal drugs. Stevens finally summons enough courage to find his voice, though it comes out as barely more than a whisper. Mitchell, we don't have a search warrant for a full house search. Maybe we should contact our supervisor before proceeding with, we got probable cause up the ass. Mitchell snarls like a rabid animal. Anonymous tip about weapons give us complete legal authority to search for immediate officer safety concerns. He reaches for his police radio and turns it off with a deliberate, ominous click. Can't have dispatch interference while we're conducting serious police work here. The small but significant act sends ice-cold chills racing down Stevens' spine. Turning off radio contact violates every single protocol they learned in the academy, effectively cutting them off from supervision, accountability, and backup support. He realizes with growing horror that Mitchell is going completely rogue, operating in a dangerous vacuum without oversight or departmental communication. Evelyn notices the radio silence too, her nursing training helping her recognize the tactical significance. She understands with terrifying clarity that she's now completely at Mitchell's mercy, isolated from any outside help or intervention. No witnesses except a rookie partner too intimidated to intervene, no communication with the outside world, no protection except her own dignity, determination, and desperate hope that truth will somehow prevail over hatred. But upstairs, Commander James Thompson is beginning to wake up. Mitchell's illegal search intensifies with the fury of a man possessed by racial hatred. He rips open kitchen cabinets, sending dishes crashing to the floor in an explosive symphony. Evelyn's nursing textbooks fly through the air, their pages fluttering like wounded birds as he systematically destroys everything this family has built. "Please, officer, you're destroying our home," Evelyn pleads, her voice cracking as she watches years of memories scattered across the floor. "We have nothing to hide." "I can show you my work schedule, my husband's deployment orders, anything you need to verify our story." "Your story?" Mitchell spits, literally sending saliva across the family photos now trampled under his boots. "Lady, I've heard every sob story in the book. Military husband, nursing job, perfect little family. It's all a front for drug dealing and weapons trafficking." He grabs Evelyn's framed nursing degree from the wall and hurls it against the kitchen counter. Glass explodes everywhere, cutting through the silence like broken promises. The diploma that represents 4 years of dedication to healing others now lies destroyed, its gold seal scattered in pieces. Stevens watches in growing horror as his partner crosses every legal and ethical line. "Mitchell, this is excessive. We should document everything properly. Call for a supervisor. Shut your mouth, rookie." Mitchell whirls around, his face flushed red with rage and authority. "One more word from you and I'll write you up for insubordination. 12 years I've been cleaning up this city while college boys like you sit in classrooms learning theory." Upstairs, the floorboards creak more insistently. Someone is definitely moving around, perhaps using the bathroom or getting a drink of water. The sounds of normal life in a peaceful home, but Mitchell interprets every noise as potential threat or criminal activity. "That's it," he snarls, starting toward the staircase with predatory intent. "Time to round up the whole drug operation. How many dealers have you got hiding up there?" "Those are my children," Evelyn cries, positioning herself between Mitchell and the stairs. "Tommy's 8 years old, Sarah's 12. They're terrified children who just want their daddy home safe." "Kids make perfect drug mules," Mitchell sneers, his hand now resting openly on his weapon. "Small hands, innocent faces, cartels love using them to move products. I bet they know exactly where mommy and daddy hide the good stuff." The accusation is so vile, so fundamentally evil, that Stevens actually steps forward in protest. "Mitchell, that's completely inappropriate. These are young children in their own home. I said shut up!" Mitchell's voice booms through the house like a gunshot. "Unless you want to explain to Internal Affairs why you're protecting drug dealers instead of backing up your partner." Sarah's frightened voice drifts down from upstairs. "Mommy, who's shouting? Is someone trying to hurt us?" Evelyn's heart shatters into 1,000 pieces. Her 12-year-old daughter, honor roll student and future scientist, is cowering in her bedroom thinking violent criminals have invaded their sanctuary. The irony burns like acid. The real criminal wears a badge and carries the authority of the state. "I'm here, baby," Evelyn calls up gently, trying to keep terror out of her voice. "Just stay in your room with Tommy until I come get you, okay?" "Like hell," Mitchell growls, starting up the stairs 2 at a time. "Nobody gives orders in this house except me. Time to search every room for weapons and contraband." "You can't search my children's bedrooms without a warrant." Evelyn follows desperately, her maternal instincts overriding her fear. "They're minors. They have rights. This is illegal." Mitchell spins around on the staircase, his face twisted with hatred. "Your kids have the right to remain silent when I arrest them for drug possession. That's about it." The threat hangs in the air like toxic gas. Stevens realizes he's witnessing something that will haunt him forever. The systematic destruction of an innocent family by a racist cop drunk on power and hatred. In Tommy's room, Mitchell begins tearing apart the 8-year-old's belongings. Model airplanes crash to the floor, their carefully assembled pieces exploding into fragments. A science fair trophy reading First Place Solar System Project gets kicked into the wall. "Look at this suspicious stuff," Mitchell sneers, holding up a toy walkie-talkie. "Communication device for coordinating drug deals. Pretty sophisticated operation you're running here." "That's a toy," Evelyn sobs, watching her son's childhood dreams destroyed. "He pretends to talk to his daddy overseas. It doesn't even have real batteries." "Sure it doesn't." Mitchell pockets the toy as evidence, already constructing his false narrative for the police report. "Kids start dealing young these days. Got to catch them before they graduate to real weapons." Sarah appears in her doorway, clutching a stuffed animal and wearing pajamas covered in cartoon stars. Her eyes are wide with terror as she watches a uniformed officer destroy her little brother's room. "Mommy, why is he breaking Tommy's things?" she whispers, tears streaming down her face. "Daddy always said police officers protect children." The innocence in her voice breaks something fundamental in Stephen's soul. He sees his own niece in this terrified little girl, recognizes the profound betrayal of trust that Mitchell represents. "Sarah, go back to your room," Evelyn says gently, trying to shield her daughter from witnessing more destruction. "Lock your door and don't come out until I tell you." "Nobody locks any doors," Mitchell commands, his voice echoing with absolute authority. "I need access to every room for a complete search. Starting with the princess, here's the bedroom." "No!" Evelyn throws herself between Mitchell and her daughter's room. "She's 12 years old. You cannot search a child's bedroom without a warrant and parental consent." "Watch me." Mitchell shoves Evelyn aside with casual brutality, sending her stumbling against the hallway wall. The wedding photo hanging there falls and shatters, adding to the debris of this family's destroyed life. In Sarah's room, Mitchell begins his violation of a little girl's private space. He dumps out her jewelry box, scattering friendship bracelets and school photos across the floor. Her diary, filled with innocent thoughts about boys, homework, and missing her deployed father, gets rifled through page by page. "Love letters to drug dealers," Mitchell announces, holding up a page where Sarah wrote, "I miss Daddy so much." Coded messages about when Daddy's bringing the next shipment home. The perversion of innocent words makes Stevens physically sick. He's watching a 12-year-old's privacy destroyed, her childhood sanctuary violated by a man who sees criminality in everything touched by black skin. Tommy appears in the hallway, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "Why is the policeman being mean to us? Did we do something wrong?" The 8-year-old's question pierces the toxic atmosphere like a prayer. Here stands innocence personified. A little boy who still believes police officers are heroes, asking why his world is being destroyed. "You're all going to do something wrong if you don't start cooperating," Mitchell threatens, now cornering the entire family in the narrow hallway. "Last chance to tell me where the drugs and weapons are hidden before I call backup and Child Protective Services." Evelyn pulls both children close, creating a human shield with her body. "There are no drugs. There are no weapons. We're a military family. We serve this country. Please stop terrorizing my children." "Military family?" Mitchell laughs with genuine amusement. "Lady, I've heard that story 100 times. Every drug dealer in America claims to be a veteran when they get caught. Nice try." The sound of footsteps echoes from the master bedroom. Heavy, purposeful steps that suggest someone much larger than children moving around. Mitchell's hand instinctively moves to his weapon as his paranoia spikes to dangerous levels. "Who else is up here?" he demands, his voice tight with nervous energy. "How many accomplices did you hide in this drug house?" "That's my husband," Evelyn whispers, her voice filled with desperate hope. "Commander James Thompson. He can verify everything I've told you. He can show you his military identification, his deployment orders, his security clearance." "Your drug-dealing boyfriend, you mean?" Mitchell cuts her off with racial venom. "Time to round up the whole crew and see what kind of operation you're really running." But as Mitchell starts toward the master bedroom, his hand on his weapon and hatred in his heart, he has no idea that he's about to confront one of America's most elite warriors. A man trained to eliminate threats with surgical precision. A decorated combat veteran who has spent 15 years defending the very Constitution that Mitchell is violating. The confrontation that will change everything is just seconds away, hidden behind a bedroom door where a Navy SEAL commander is reaching for his dress uniform. The master bedroom door opens with quiet authority, and Commander James Thompson emerges like justice personified. His 6'2" frame fills the doorway, broad shoulders carrying the weight of 15 years defending America. The Navy SEAL dress uniform fits him perfectly, crisp white shirt, dark blue jacket adorned with ribbons that tell stories of courage under fire. Mitchell freezes mid-step, his racist swagger evaporating like morning mist. The bronze star catches the hallway light. The Purple Heart gleams with quiet dignity. The SEAL trident pin, that sacred symbol earned through hell itself, sits prominently above a chest full of combat decorations. "Lower your weapon, officer," James's voice carries the calm authority of a man who has commanded special operations in the world's most dangerous places. Now! Mitchell's hand trembles on his holster, his brain struggling to process what he's seeing. This isn't some street thug or drug dealer. This is a decorated military officer in full-dress uniform, radiating the kind of lethal competence that comes from years of elite combat training. We were responding to an anonymous tip about weapons, Mitchell stammers, his racist confidence crumbling like a house of cards. Your wife was acting suspicious, reaching for objects. My wife is a pediatric ICU nurse who just saved a child's life, James states with devastating precision. She was making tea in her own kitchen after a 12-hour shift healing children. You entered our home without a warrant, terrorized our family, and destroyed our property. Stevens watches in amazement as the entire power dynamic shifts in seconds. Mitchell, the aggressive bully who moments ago was threatening children, now looks like a schoolboy caught stealing lunch money. Commander Thompson, I'm Officer Stevens, the rookie says quickly, stepping forward with visible relief. I tried to tell my partner we should verify the report and request backup before entering your home. James's tactical assessment is instant and complete. Good cop, bad cop, one racist predator, one decent rookie caught in an impossible situation. His SEAL training kicks in, reading body language, evaluating threats, calculating options. Officer Stevens, I appreciate your professionalism, James says, his voice maintaining that deadly calm that makes enemy combatants surrender without a fight. Please document everything you've witnessed here tonight for your report. Sir, yes, sir, Stevens responds instinctively, recognizing superior authority when he sees it. Mitchell realizes his world is collapsing in real time. Every racist assumption, every illegal action, every violation of constitutional rights is about to be exposed. The anonymous tip that brought them here, a malfunctioning garage door, has led him into a nightmare scenario where he's threatened the family of a decorated Navy SEAL. Commander, there's been a misunderstanding, Mitchell tries desperately, his voice cracking with panic. The anonymous tip mentioned weapons, suspicious activity. We were just doing our job, following protocols. Protocols? James's voice drops to a whisper that somehow carries more menace than any shout. Your protocols include entering homes without warrants, terrorizing nurses, threatening 8-year-old children, destroying private property? Sarah peeks out from behind her mother, seeing her father in full military splendor for the first time since his return. Daddy, the policeman was being mean to us. He broke Tommy's airplane and said we were bad people. The words hit James like physical blows. His little girl, honor roll student, future scientist, innocent child who still believes in heroes, has been terrorized by a racist cop in her own home. Baby girl, Daddy's here now, James says gently, never taking his eyes off Mitchell. Nobody's going to hurt our family ever again. Mitchell sees his career evaporating before his eyes. Threatening a Navy SEAL's family isn't just career suicide. It's the kind of mistake that brings down entire police departments. The military doesn't forget when civilians abuse their own. Commander, please understand our position, Mitchell pleads, desperation making his voice high and thin. Anonymous tip, possible weapons, officer safety protocols. We were just being careful. Careful? James pulls out his phone with deliberate precision. Let me show you careful, officer. This is Admiral Richardson at Naval Special Warfare Command. Speed dial. One phone call brings down federal investigators, military police, and enough political pressure to bury your entire department. The threat hangs in the air like an armed nuclear weapon. Mitchell realizes he's not just dealing with some random citizen. He's violated the family of a man with direct access to Pentagon leadership, congressional allies, and the kind of military brotherhood that never abandons its own. Sir, please, Stevens interjects, recognizing the nuclear option James is offering. Officer Mitchell made serious errors in judgment tonight. I'll testify to everything I witnessed, full cooperation with any investigation. James studies the rookie's face, seeing genuine remorse and moral courage. Officer Stevens, I appreciate your integrity. It takes real character to stand up for what's right. Mitchell watches helplessly as his own partner abandons him, choosing truth over corrupt loyalty. The thin blue line that has protected his racism for 12 years is finally breaking. The children are traumatized, James continues, his voice gaining power with each word. My wife has been assaulted in her own home. Our property is destroyed. Our constitutional rights have been violated by a uniformed officer sworn to protect and serve. Tommy appears beside his sister, looking up at his father with hero worship in his 8-year-old eyes. Daddy, are you going to arrest the bad policeman? The innocent question delivers the final blow to Mitchell's crumbling world. Even a child recognizes who the real criminal is tonight. James kneels down to his son's level, his voice gentle but firm. Tommy, sometimes bad people wear uniforms, but justice always wins when good people stand together. The power reversal is complete. Mitchell, racist bully with a badge, now stands exposed as the real threat to public safety. Mitchell's desperate attempts to salvage his career crumble faster than a sandcastle in a hurricane. Sweat beads on his forehead as he fumbles for his radio, suddenly remembering he turned it off to avoid supervision. The small act of cutting communication now proves his criminal intent. Commander Thompson, this has all been a terrible misunderstanding. Mitchell stammers, his voice cracking like a teenager caught stealing. The anonymous tip specifically mentioned weapons and suspicious activity. We were responding to legitimate public safety concerns. James's laugh carries no humor, only the cold precision of a warrior who has seen real evil. Anonymous tip. Officer, let me educate you about real threats. I've hunted terrorists in Afghanistan for 15 years. You terrorized a nurse making tea. Stevens pulls out his notebook with trembling hands, finally finding courage to document the truth. Sir, I need to record Officer Mitchell's actions for my incident report. The illegal entry, warrantless search, threats against minors, all of it. Officer Stevens, your integrity is noted, James responds, his tactical mind already 3 steps ahead. Officer Mitchell, you have 60 seconds to provide your badge number before I activate military channels. Mitchell's face goes ashen as he realizes the federal tsunami about to destroy his life. Military families don't just file complaints with local internal affairs. They have access to senators, Pentagon officials, and media contacts that expose police corruption nationally. Badge number 2847, Mitchell whispers, his voice barely audible. Sergeant Rodriguez is my supervisor, but he's off duty until... He's on duty now, James interrupts, pulling out his phone with deliberate ceremony. Admiral Richardson, Naval Special Warfare Command, direct line to the Pentagon. 1 speed dial brings federal investigators within hours. The phone's screen illuminates James's face as he scrolls through contacts, reading like a Washington power directory. Congressman Williams sits on the Armed Services Committee. Senator Thompson, Navy veteran who takes police brutality seriously. FBI Deputy Director Martinez handles civil rights violations. Mitchell watches his world implode in real time. Each name represents career destruction, federal prosecution, and political firestorm that destroys entire departments. His 12 years of racist policing have led him to the one family he should never have touched. Please, Commander, Mitchell begs, his voice breaking with desperation. I have a wife, kids, and mortgage payments. This job is all I know. Maybe we can work something out, handle this internally. Handle it internally? Evelyn's voice cuts through Mitchell's pleading like a surgical scalpel. You threatened to take my children. You called us drug dealers. You destroyed our home and traumatized my babies. Now you want to work something out? Sarah and Tommy cling to their father's legs, feeling safe for the first time since the ordeal began. Their daddy has transformed from helpless victim into the protector they've always known him to be. Daddy, is the mean policeman going to jail? Tommy asks with 8-year-old directness that cuts straight to Justice's heart. James kneels to his son's level, his voice gentle but firm. Tommy, when people break the law, even people wearing uniforms, they face consequences. That's how justice works in America. Stevens closes his notebook with a definitive snap. Commander, I have everything documented. Officer Mitchell's actions violated every academy protocol. I'll testify to the truth regardless of career consequences. The rookie's moral courage impresses James, who recognizes the difficult choice Stevens is making. Standing up to police corruption takes the same bravery James has seen in combat zones. Officer Stevens, the military respects integrity above all else, James says. Your testimony will help ensure this never happens to another family. Mitchell realizes his partner's cooperation seals his fate completely. No thin blue line protection, no union solidarity, no departmental cover-up. just the cold truth of his racist crimes exposed under justice's harsh light. "I need to call my union representative," Mitchell mumbles, grasping at his final straw of hope. "You need to call a criminal defense attorney," James corrects with devastating precision. "In 10 minutes, you'll be under federal investigation for civil rights violations, assault, illegal entry, and terrorizing a military family." Stevens contacts dispatch to report the incident, his voice steady with newfound purpose. "This is Unit 47 requesting immediate supervisor response and internal affairs notification. Officer-involved misconduct requiring federal investigation." The radio crackles with shocked responses from dispatch. Within minutes, supervisors will descend on the scene. Within hours, federal investigators will review every detail of Mitchell's career. Mitchell's phone buzzes with a text from his wife. "Saw the news alert about a police incident. Is everything okay?" The irony burns like acid. His own family will soon discover he's become a criminal threatening innocent families. His children will learn their father terrorizes other children. Justice is coming fast and hard, and Mitchell finally understands he's powerless to stop it. The federal investigation descends on the Virginia Beach Police Department like an unstoppable avalanche. Within 72 hours, FBI agents occupy the Internal Affairs Office, Navy NCIS investigators review military family protocols, and Department of Justice civil rights lawyers scrutinize every case Mitchell has touched in 12 years. Special Agent Maria Santos leads the federal task force, her stern face broadcasting zero tolerance for police corruption. "Commander Thompson's case isn't isolated," she announces at the packed press conference. "We've identified a pattern of constitutional violations spanning Officer Mitchell's entire career." The evidence room is filled with damning documentation. Body camera footage showing Mitchell's illegal entry and racial slurs, audio recordings of his threats against children, hospital records confirming Evelyn's nursing credentials and work schedule, military deployment orders proving James's overseas service and heroic record. Most devastating of all, 8 additional families step forward with their own horror stories of Mitchell's abuse. Maria Rodriguez, a school teacher, describes being handcuffed during a traffic stop while her children watched. Reverend William Johnson recounts being detained for driving while black in his own neighborhood. Each testimony builds an unshakable case of systematic racism. The Virginia Beach police chief tries damage control at a chaotic press briefing. "Officer Mitchell's actions don't represent our department's values," Chief Williams declares, sweat beading on his forehead as reporters shout questions. "We're implementing immediate reforms and full cooperation with federal investigators." "What about the 12 years of complaints you ignored?" shouts Channel 7's investigative reporter. "Internal Affairs received 17 formal complaints against Mitchell. Why wasn't he stopped?" Chief Williams stumbles through non-answers while protesters gather outside. Military families hold signs reading, "Protect those who serve," and "Justice for Thompson family." The optics are devastating. Uniformed veterans demanding accountability from civilian police. Mitchell's attorney, Jonathan Pierce, attempts an impossible defense at the federal courthouse. "My client made split-second decisions under stressful circumstances," Pierce argues before Judge Elizabeth Martinez, a former Marine Corps prosecutor with zero patience for constitutional violations. "Counselor," Judge Martinez interrupts with surgical precision, "your client spent 47 minutes terrorizing a nurse and 2 children in their own home. Which split-second decision lasted 47 minutes? The prosecution's case unfolds like a legal symphony conducted by federal prosecutor David Brooks. Video evidence shows Mitchell's racist comments. Audio recordings capture his threats against children. Hospital documentation proves Evelyn's legitimate employment and character. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," Prosecutor Brooks addresses the 12 citizens who will decide Mitchell's fate. "This case isn't about police work. It's about a racist predator who used his badge to terrorize an American family serving our country." James takes the witness stand in full dress uniform, his bronze star and Purple Heart speaking louder than words. "I've served in Afghanistan, Iraq, and classified operations worldwide," he testifies with quiet dignity. "I never imagined the greatest threat to my family would come from those sworn to protect them." His voice never wavers as he describes finding his wife terrorized, his children traumatized, his home destroyed. Officer Mitchell didn't see a nurse and a decorated veteran. He saw skin color and decided we were criminals. Evelyn's testimony brings several jurors to tears. "I dedicate my life to healing children," she says, her nurse's compassion shining through courtroom formality. "That night I watched a uniformed officer threaten to destroy my own children's lives based on nothing but racial hatred." 8-year-old Tommy's impact statement, read by a child advocate, devastates the courtroom. "The policeman was scary and mean. He broke my airplane that Daddy gave me. I thought the police were supposed to be good guys." Stephen's testimony as prosecution witness ends Mitchell's last hope. "Officer Mitchell turned off his radio to avoid supervision," the rookie testifies with newfound courage. "He ignored my suggestions for backup and proper procedures. He was operating outside all departmental protocols." The defense crumbles under prosecutorial precision. Character witnesses refuse to support Mitchell. Police experts condemn his actions as criminally excessive. Even the police union distances itself, recognizing the case's toxicity. Mitchell's wife and children sit in the gallery's back row, their faces etched with shame and disbelief. His daughter whispers, "Daddy, did you really hurt that family?" The question hangs in the air like a prayer for redemption that will never come. Jury deliberation lasts exactly 97 minutes, barely enough time for lunch. The verdict echoes through the packed courtroom. Guilty on all counts: civil rights violations, assault with a deadly weapon, illegal entry, intimidation, official misconduct. Judge Martinez's sentencing speech became legendary in legal circles. "Officer Mitchell, you betrayed every oath you swore, violated every principle of justice, and terrorized an American family serving our nation. Your actions represent the absolute worst of law enforcement." The gavel falls with finality. 18 years federal prison, no possibility of parole for 12 years. You are permanently banned from law enforcement. Your pension is forfeited. This court hopes your sentence sends a clear message that badges and uniforms provide no protection for those who abuse their authority. Mitchell's legs buckle as federal marshals approach with handcuffs. His wife's sobs echo through the courtroom as their children watch their father led away in chains. The same man who put handcuffs on innocent people now wears them himself. Outside the courthouse, media crews capture James and Evelyn's statement. "This isn't about revenge," James says, Evelyn at his side and their children safely at home. "This is about ensuring no other family endures what we experienced." "We forgive Officer Mitchell," Evelyn adds, her nursing compassion intact despite everything. "But forgiveness doesn't eliminate consequences. Justice serves to protect other families from experiencing our nightmare." The civil settlement comes 3 weeks later. $8 million from Virginia Beach, the largest police misconduct award in city history. More importantly, the federal consent decree mandates comprehensive police reform, bias training, civilian oversight, early warning systems, and body camera requirements. New Police Chief Sarah Washington, brought in from outside the department, addresses her first community meeting. "The Thompson case exposed systemic failures we're committed to fixing," she declares to a packed auditorium. "Community trust must be earned through accountability, transparency, and respect for every citizen's constitutional rights. National impact spreads like ripples in a pond. Congressional hearings examine police accountability. The Thompson Act advances through Congress, strengthening protections for military families and enhancing federal oversight of local police departments. Police academies nationwide now study Mitchell's case as a cautionary tale. This is what happens when racism meets authority, instructors teach new recruits. Your badge is meant to protect and serve, not intimidate and destroy." Change comes slowly but steadily. Virginia Beach sees a 40% reduction in police complaints within 18 months. Community relations improve as new leadership prioritizes partnership over confrontation. Justice served becomes the foundation for healing, reform, and hope that the system can protect everyone equally under law. 2 years later, the Thompson family stands in their restored home, no longer victims but victors in the fight for justice. The broken picture frames have been replaced. The scattered documents are refiled. The children's rooms echo with laughter instead of terror. Evelyn returns to her pediatric ICU rounds each night, but now she carries additional purpose. Between saving children's lives, she speaks at police academies and community forums about bias, dignity, and the healing power of accountability. That night almost destroyed our faith in the system, she tells a packed auditorium at the Virginia Beach Community Center. But it ultimately strengthened our belief that justice prevails when good people refuse to stay silent. James has transitioned from active SEAL duty to civilian advocacy, establishing the Thompson Foundation for Police Accountability. His office walls display letters from families across America who found courage to report misconduct after hearing their story. Military service teaches you that real strength comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves, James reflects during a CNN interview. That principle applies equally to police work and family life. The children have grown stronger through their ordeal rather than broken by it. Tommy, now 10, builds model airplanes with renewed enthusiasm and talks about becoming a pilot who helps good people. Sarah, 14 and honor roll-bound, volunteers at the Veterans Center where her mother once served. "I want to be a lawyer who fights for families like ours," Sarah declares during a school career presentation. "Bad people wearing uniforms shouldn't be able to hurt innocent children." The Virginia Beach Police Department has transformed under Chief Washington's leadership. Complaint numbers have dropped 70% while community satisfaction scores reach historic highs. The federal oversight that seemed punitive now feels protective. Officer Stevens, promoted to detective after his courageous testimony, leads the department's new Community Relations Division. The Thompson case taught me that real police work means protecting everyone's constitutional rights, he explains to rookie training classes. The broader impact ripples through American law enforcement. 15 states have passed police accountability measures inspired by the Thompson case. Body camera requirements are now federal standard. Early warning systems flag problematic officers before they destroy lives. Mitchell serves his sentence at federal prison in North Carolina, his appeals exhausted and his name synonymous with police corruption. His family relocated to another state, his children forced to change schools and live with their father's shame. "Sometimes I wonder if Officer Mitchell thinks about what he destroyed," Evelyn muses during a quiet family dinner. "Not just our lives, but his own family's future. Hatred always destroys the person carrying it." James nods thoughtfully. Military training teaches you to identify real threats. That night, we learned the most dangerous enemies sometimes wear the uniforms of those sworn to protect us. The Thompson Foundation has helped 47 families pursue justice for police misconduct, winning settlements totaling $23 million and forcing departmental reforms in 12 cities. Each victory builds on the precedent James and Evelyn established. "Our pain became purpose," James explains to families beginning their own legal battles. "Your courage to fight back protects other families from experiencing what you endured." The Foundation's newest initiative partners with military families to document encounters with civilian police, creating databases that expose patterns of discrimination against service members and their families. When police abuse military families, they're attacking the very people who defend their freedom to serve, James declares at a Pentagon briefing on civilian-military relations. That's not just unconstitutional, it's unpatriotic. Evelyn's nursing colleagues have embraced her advocacy work, establishing hospital protocols for documenting police misconduct against healthcare workers. "Nurses serve everyone equally," she reminds her fellow healthcare professionals. "We have a duty to speak up when anyone abuses that commitment to healing." The Thompson home has become an unofficial headquarters for families seeking justice. Kitchen table conversations plan legal strategies. Living room meetings coordinate media campaigns. The same space Mitchell violated now serves as sanctuary for others fighting similar battles. "Share this story with everyone you know," James urges viewers as the camera pans across family photos restored to their rightful places. "Like and follow if you believe accountability matters more than authority." "Comment below about police reform efforts in your community," Evelyn adds, her nurse's compassion evident even through digital screens. Subscribe for more stories of families who refuse to let injustice have the final word. Tommy and Sarah appear on camera, no longer the terrified children from that awful night, but confident young Americans who understand their rights and responsibilities. "Here's what we want you to remember," James concludes. His family gathered around him in the home where their nightmare became their mission. If this could happen to a decorated Navy SEALs family, what protection exists for families without military connections, media attention, or financial resources to fight back? His final words carry the weight of experience and hope. The question isn't whether you'll witness injustice in your lifetime. The question is whether you'll stand up when you see it happening to others. Justice delayed is justice denied, but justice served reminds us that in America, no one is above the law.